In this tutorial, I want to discuss adding undo blocks to our UI. So the idea is we can encapsulate a block of code into an undo block. Any Python code that performs actions on a Touchdesigner object gets undone. So to start, let's take a look at lister as an example. So on line 325 of the lister extension, we have delete rows method. So as you can guess, this is where lister rows get deleted. But lister also has the ability to undo these deleting rows. So if you jump to line 1932, we'll see how this undo is actually being added to the class. So to get this set up, you have to do ui.undo start block, and you have to put a name. So right here, he's putting delete rows, and the path to this component. You can put whatever name you want in. And then you don't need a callback, but you can add a callback. In the examples that I'm going to show, there's not really much of a use for a callback, but um, we'll also see some reasons why you would want the callback. Then we have to do a ui.undo end block. So basically anything that's, inside of this code is going to be able to be undone. So if we take a look at the tutorial example, we have 3 cubes, we can select the cubes, and we can delete them. So easiest thing, to see is when you select these, it adds the name to the selection, and then when I hit the delete button, it just deletes them. So we have undo capabilities for the delete action as well as the selection. So kind of like if you look at a program like Blender, when you accidentally selecting the wrong thing can be, potentially a destructive action because you could have spent, you know, 30 seconds selecting the right thing. So if you accidentally deselect, that's a pretty bad mistake. So you want the ability in some situations to undo changes in selection. And this is what we have here. So when you select a cube, it is changing this string right here. And what we can do is add this change of string to our undo block into our render pick callbacks. It's very simple. So you just add these. You do ui.undo start block. I just named it selection, and then you do end block at the end. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's just changing that name. And so for the other example was the deleting. So you can delete all these and then undo it. And the way that's being handled here is the manager class. And so we have delete selected. So when you press that delete button, it's doing delete selected. We have a start block in the beginning of this. We are destroying the op and then setting the selection to none. Here we're adding a callback. We're not technically using that for anything. We're just going to say print hello from undo callback. So I'll pull up the text port. And so when we delete one and hit undo, that hello from undo callback comes up. And that's going to be really helpful when we need to clean something up. Let's say, when you delete something, maybe you're clearing something out of memory, but then when you need to bring that back, that might not automatically come back. So in the case of the timeline example, when we undo a queue, so we have these thumbnails and these are being placed in memory and stored. And so when we delete these, that's getting cleared out of memory so it can be reused. And so when I undo it, I then have to kind of recreate that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So adding undo redo functionality to an application makes it feel much more like a native software, and considering it's so simple to set up, it can be used for all types of operations. So, if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe and I'll be posting some more over the next few weeks.